When God told Adam and Eve that they would die if they ate the forbidden fruit, he was indeed speaking of their eventual death. No, he wasn't, but you gotta love the Christian gaslighting. But the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it. For in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. Here I provided other translations, but they all say the exact same thing. But God didn't say that they would literally die. He said that they would die a spiritual death. Where? Where does it say that? This is one of my favorite things about Christian hypocrisy. If it's something they want to believe, they'll point to the verse and they'll say, this is gospel. This is God's true word. But if you point out something that goes against their direct beliefs, then it's cherry picking or you interpreted it wrong. They don't just pick up the goalpost and move it. They keep that sucker on wheels. So if God meant that their souls would eventually be on the divine naughty list, he sure forgot to mention it in his big book of bullshit. And one would think that if this book was your path to salvation, he would have that out in the fine print. Another fun thing that Christians love to do is tell you what the scholars say. But here's the problem with that. There were no Christian scholars around for the first 200 years of Christianity. What did all those Christians do? How did they read the book? How did they interpret it? Did everybody have access to this scholar's information? I don't think they did. And why exactly would we need Christian scholars to tell us what God really meant? Is God just really that bad at communication? And if so, why should we follow him? It's very amusing to me that Christians say, you need to read the Bible, but on the other hand, we'll say, you need a Christian scholar to tell you what that actually means. On one hand, you believe the book was written out of divine inspiration, but on the other hand, you think that you need a degree in first century Aramaic to understand it. Am I getting this right? So no, I'm not buying into the spiritual death loophole. It says what it says. If you need a theologian to twist it into your aura gets revoked or something like that, then your book's not holy. It's hazy. And if the truth needs a middleman to make it sound more reasonable, maybe it's not really truth, but marketing. The main thing that we need to take into account, though, is that interpretations may vary, but the text stays the same.